It was just this Christmas that went by, and things were getting really busy. I had just to start buying presents for the family. I had finished shopping, but I still needed to get a present for my little cousin. She is not very hard to shop for since she is 4. She likes things like Peppa Pig and My Little Pony. She really liked Max and Ruby for a reason. So when I decided to go look for a present for her, I decided simply Max and Ruby DVD would have been perfect for her, since she liked to watch it on a daily basis. However, Christmas meant that most of the DVDs online were sold out in most places. I wanted to look on eBay as well, but I figured I could not trust what condition the DVDs would have been in. So I was stuck on a rut for a while, until that package arrived. I was at home scrolling for a stupid DVD, so I heard the sound of something being pushed into my letterbox. I caught hold of it before my dog did, and looked at the package. It seemed to be wrapped fairly bad, with what looked like grease marks and stains on it. Naturally, like anyone would, I decided to open the package, and inside was something that I could not explain. It was a Max Ruby DVD, and I had not seen it like it online. It was like some little kid drawn on the front cover with a marker. The title was just Max and Ruby, with what looked like a poorly drawn illustration of Max and Ruby on the front cover. There were no names or anything, but on the back were there a list of 4 episodes, all with blunt titles. Episode _001, 2, 3, and 4. I gave the DVD a watch over, and to my surprise, the episodes were all perfect quality, and seemed to have no flaws. It was as if a real DVD with just a fake cover. The only thing I thought was odd was the episode selection screen. The episode had names, but they were all called Max and Ruby 1, with the numbers being changed as it went down the list. The actual selection screen was just a plain white screen with black text and the episode list and nothing else. After not giving it much thought, I decided to change the cover to something a little nicer by printing out a DVD cover that I had found on Google and tracked down the names of the episodes so they were labeled right. I left the episode list screen alone since I figured it was self-explanatory. Christmas went by and things were fine. I gave my little cousin her DVD and she was happy with it all through Christmas, but that was only because she had not watched it yet. On Boxing Day, the family had gone out for a meal and left me to babysit my cousin. I was not too bothered about being left alone. I figured now was a good time to put on the DVD for her, and I put the DVD on, let it play, while I was in the kitchen eating my dinner. From what I could hear, she had watched episodes 1 to 3 so far. I was just about to finish off my noodles when I heard my cousin screaming from the other room. Dropping everything, I had ran into the room and saw my cousin curled up on the floor, screaming. I looked up at the TV, and my heart sank into my throat. What I caught a glimpse of was one of the most terrifying things I had ever seen in my life. It was what appeared to be a frame of Max and Ruby sitting next to each other, in complete darkness. But what made it so horrible was their lack of faces. They had lost their noses and mouths, and their eyes were replaced with big black holes. Their colors were a disgusting blood red, and their faint static in the background. The sound was replaced with what sounded like Max Ruby theme song playing in reverse, with faint sound of static in the mix of it all. It had been the most disturbing thing I'd ever seen. It must have been on screen for at least 20 seconds before the screen went black and the DVD turned off, which alone was weird because they don't usually do that by themselves. I was able to calm my cousin down, telling her that I was not real, that was just a dream that she had fallen asleep in front of the DVD. I knew in my mind it was completely real. The parents had rung me up and told me that they were going to be out all night. So this was the best time to look at the DVD more closely. I did not mention it to them, and as soon as I hung up, I grabbed the DVD and stuck it on my laptop. As soon as it loaded, I noticed that episode 0004 had not been replaced with RIP, Mommy and Daddy, which sent a deep chill down my back. Since my cousin was now asleep, I plugged in my earbuds so we could sleep without having to hear anything. Normally, an episode Max Ruby would have 3 short stories, but this episode only had 1. It started off quite lighthearted. Max and Ruby were playing in the garden, and their parents were on the porch watching them play. However, something was off. The sound was playing in reverse, and the parents' faces was that of sadness. It panned to the mother and father, and in a deep voice of sorrow, the father spoke. "It's such a shame," he sighed. It then cut short to the sound of static and a loud scream, followed by the sound of two people choking. The sounds felt so real, it made me almost physically sick. The scene had switched to Max and Ruby standing in front of what looked like a gravestone labeled RIP, Mommy and Daddy. The two of them had no faces. At this point, there was no sound. Apart from faint static, the scene remained on screen for about a minute and a half before it cut away into black. It then changed again, now showing Max and Ruby sitting in Ruby's room. Both of them were sobbing. The sobs were so realistic and heart-wrenching. It sounded like it was taken from a real person mourning. What happened next was probably the most disgusting yet saddest thing I've ever witnessed. The scene had changed to Max sitting in his room. He was standing on a chair from a noose hanging from the ceiling. He had a bra around his neck. The scene faded to black and the static got louder. Almost instantly, it then cut to Ruby walking in on her brother. The scene cut to black with a loud static. When the screen returned, Ruby was standing on her own now, in the garden by two gravestones. One was labeled R.I.P. Mommy and Daddy, and the other R.I.P. Brother. She then started to look at the camera with glowing blue pupils and to speak to me. Well, whoever's watching this is because you never watched any of me and my brother's episodes, so one of these days you will regret this. The screen had faded to black afterwards. At this point, I had been sick and was starting to feel a little shaken. The episode seemed to have come to an end at last, and as Max Ruby played in reverse, I was about to eject the DVD when the same image came up like it did before. This time, however, the text above the two rabbits said, "Death is their only release." There were no credits or anything. It stayed on the screen for a few seconds before the DVD finally popped out on my laptop. I sat there trying to figure out what had just happened. In my shock and fear, I made the stupid decision to break up the DVD, then shoved it down the drain. Thankfully, I kept a few screenshots and saved them on my laptop. The next couple of days went past without anything unusual happening. I had a few neighbors about the DVD, but luckily that was all. My cousin had gone back home with the rest of the family. It was a late night and my parents had gone out for dinner again, leaving me home to watch TV. I heard what sounded like someone posting something through the door. At this point, the DVD had left my mind, and since I had not told anyone about it, however, it had come flooding back to me. When I looked down at the letter in front of me, it was just messily folded up and it read, "Death is our only release."